Hey friends, my name is Jake. Welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at this knife. This is by Sanrenmu, the PT711, and it's got a sibling, the PT721, which also has scissors. So it's a little slip joint pocket knife, something in the more classic style, a little bit modernized as well. The first thing I'm going to hear in the comments is, wait a minute, Boker's got the exact same thing. And yes, a little bit of backstory. Sanrenmu, rake knives, real steel knives, those are basically the same companies under the same umbrella. And it seems like Sanrenmu and rake knives, some of their knives have also been made by Boker. So Boker has something of a relationship with that group of Chinese brands. And so some of their knives you can find under both of those brands, or under Sanrenmu, rake, real steel, or under Boker's umbrellas. And this is no exception. And I really like the multifunction knives by Rake Knives, by the way. They're great. The thing is, with Boker, you get more options. You get things like wood, some wood-handled versions, and 3D milled G10 instead of flat G10. I'll just leave links down below for some more of that kind of stuff. But this knife, I got this at AliExpress. It's Sanrenmu, but it's the Chinese branded Sanrenmu. You can see the characters right there on the blade. Sanvic 12C27 blade, all steel handle. It's pinned together. And if you want it just a little bit thicker and heavier, you can get scissors with it. And scissors are the unsung ODYSEE tool that people just don't think about. In an ODYSEE getaway bag, you definitely want to have scissors with you. Scissors are so useful. And knives are extremely useful, but scissors are very useful. You want to get scissors as well. So I don't have the scissors one. You can get the scissor one still from AliExpress. I'll leave a link down below for the price. You can get the Boker version of this knife from White Mountain Knives for just under $25. I think it's under $25. Where's my... Under $23 US from White Mountain Knives, the Boker version. So I'll leave links for everything down below. And when you go to White Mountain Knives, you can save 10% with coupon code CCE. And if you're in Europe or something, there's no shipping on this from AliExpress. Whereas for this one, there is shipping to the United States. They don't ship to Canada at all, even though this thing be totally legal. It's because the individual sellers who sell these knives also sell other knives, and they've had way too many people asking for money back after the Canadian Border Services Agency has confiscated knives. So they're not accepting those losses anymore, and they just don't ship to Canada anymore. But if you bought this from White Mountain Knives, it'll get into Canada no problems whatsoever, because it's a slip joint knife. So let's get to the tabletop and take a closer look at this partner. It says partner right there. So let's first begin with the size comparison. Here's a Bic pen. Instead of putting it next to the Ontario Rat, because these are very different knives, it's a bit longer than a Bic pen. I'll do all the sizes and dimensions a little bit later on in the video. Starting off, the blade, we've got a drop point blade. It's a full flat grind. We've got a mirror finish on this Sanvic 12C27. There's a sharpness choil that's reasonable. It's a good sharpness choil. We've got a nail nick to open the knife. You don't have to use your nail. There's enough to get in there and just grab it with your fingertips as well. For those of you who've got weaker nails, the spring's not that strong that you need to, jam your nail in there and pry. So that's a good thing. With the mirror finish, though, look at that. I wiped it down just before I hit record, and, look at those fingerprints on there. My skin might be oilier than average. In fact, I think it is. But that's why I really dislike mirror finishes on knives. But there you go. the writing on the knife. Well, on this side, we've got, the Sanrenmu traditional characters that they have on their knife. And on this side, we've got the odd stuff. It's very clear that on this specific one, the writing didn't turn out very well. It's kind of fuzzy. Right up here's the date on the corner. And right here on the knife, it's very odd. It says on sale. And that's etched on the blade. Really weird. Up at the top, PT711-SB. SB is the black. And below that, it says Sandvik, which is really fuzzy. Like it just did a terrible time etching that. And it says 12C27 steel. This is the worst printing I've seen on any Sanrenmu knife. So somehow this thing got through quality control. I think it probably shouldn't have. Here's the knife handle. I'm not sure exactly what this coating is. I think it might be sort of a PVD coating. In any case, I've used this knife for doing all my tests, and it's starting to get just a little bit dull already. It's not a super durable black coating. I don't see any scratch marks anywhere, so that's not a problem. But it's not a coating that's going to just last and last and last. It's a back spring slip joint. You see, this piece here is the back spring, and as you go to close it, the back of the blade is turning up, pushing the spring up, and there's no half stop, and it's closed. So I would have preferred a half stop on here. That would increase the safety factor a little bit, but it's not there. And so when it's closed, that spring is back down flat again. And we've got a brass pivot. There's a 2-hole adjustment there. So if you've got the type of tool where you can have 2 points and you can adjust the distance apart that they are, you can adjust this pivot pin and you can take it apart. You could take the blade all the way out, maybe give it a stonewash treatment, but you can do that. And the rest of it is pinned together, and these look like they are copper. So I don't think that they would be copper. It's probably a copper alloy. But there you go, 3 pins back here that hold it together. So it's not a knife that you can take apart, although you can take the blade out if you want to. I don't think I've got a tool handy to take this apart, but if I do, I'll add a photo or a chunk of video right now showing the insides. So I took it apart. I used my spanner tool and put it into those 2 little holes. The pivot pin is only threaded right at the end of it, and the hole here is D-shaped so it can't spin, and the rod is D-shaped as well. And there's no washers or anything. They just had some light grease in there. So there you go. You can take it apart if you want to stonewash your blade, or for whatever reason, if you might need to take it apart. We've got a straight back on the handle. The belly has, basically finger choils at the front and back. My hands are just barely into the extra large range, and this knife still fits into my hand. Just a little bit of steel sticking out there. So this knife will fit most hand sizes, which is quite nice. You just have, the steel edges right here. So it's not a knife that's designed for hard, long-term use. This will get a little hot in the hand if you do that. At the very back of the handle, we've got a lanyard hole, which is quite nice to have. So you can tie off any kind of lanyard you want on there. And then they've got a pocket clip with T6 button screws. So with those button screws, you're going to find that there is a challenge. It's easy enough to get the knife on there, but then it doesn't always go all the way to the bottom, just quick and easy. It depends on the pants you're wearing. It can get through there with this denim, that's folded up and over, but sometimes it just takes a little extra wiggling to get it on there. It didn't take a lot of extra work Just on the odd pair of pants I had, well, one of my pair of pants, I had some trouble sometimes. It doesn't really look like there's all that much in your pocket. And it's not that hard to take it back out again either. And I do like that there's texture on the pocket clip. It makes it a little easier to grab up using that spot, to pull the knife out of your pocket. So that's the basic overview of this knife. Let's go over all the sizes and dimensions and stuff like that. The weight, 50 grams, 1.8 ounces. With the scissor version, that's 80 grams, 2.8 ounces. The factory sharpness on this guy, it's a little bit worse than I usually get from Sanrenmu. This one was 185 best. So it's not dull or anything, but it wasn't super sharp. The cutting edge length, 68.2 millimeters, 2.68 inches. Blade length, tip to the closest spot on the handle, 72.7 millimeters, 2.86 inches. The thickness of the blade, 2.44 millimeters, which is just under a tenth of an inch. The blade depth, its biggest right about here, and that is 16.5 millimeters, 0.65 of an inch. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, 0.47 millimeters, 18.5 thousandths of an inch. The grind angle, this side is about 17.5, this side is about 19.8. The handle length is 94.6 millimeters, 3.72 inches. The grip area, well, it's basically the same as the handle length. The handle thickness, not counting any of the pins or anything, just the steel to steel in the middle of the handle right here, 4.76 millimeters, 0.187 of an inch. The handle depth, within the grip area here, it's biggest right there, 19.3 millimeters, 0.76 of an inch. When it's closed, the widest point is there, 22.9 millimeters, 0.9 of an inch. And the total length of the knife when it is open, 167.3 millimeters, 6.59 inches. So that's not bad. I mentioned the price at the beginning. I've got links down below for places where you can buy this knife. What are my thoughts on it? I think this is a nice, light pocket knife. If you are in a place where you need to be more discreet about your knives and you don't mind slip joint knives, and I don't really mind slip joint knives at all, this could be a good choice. The pocket clip is removable. If you don't want to have that, maybe just put it into, a thin leather sleeve, like maybe the Rough Rider sleeves from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, which are like $3, $4, $5. Really, I got to do my video on those yet. Those are quite nice. Or you can just use it as a regular pocket knife. It's a nice, light, small, maybe backup thing, thing to pull out when there's people that are afraid of knives around, but you still need a knife to do a little job. It's just perfectly fine for those little jobs. And if you have a scissor, then it's really, a multi-tool that you can use for doing, a lot of little things. Would I want them to put a bottle opener on here? No, and again, no. I'm one of those guys that I'm sick and tired of every little thing having a bottle opener on it. I think it's good the way it is. It's decent. I like how it's very simple and plain. The logo that says partner on here seems kind of odd, but it's not bad. I like that you can get it a little upgraded with brass or copper. They've already got those touches on the budget ones as well. Some of the knives at White Mountain Knives are sold out, but they might get some more. They've got the option always at White Mountain Knives that you can put in your email address, hit the notify me button, and you'll get an email when it's back in stock. So there you go. The PT711 by Sanrenmu and also by Boker Plus. Well, by Boker, their Boker Plus lineup. Thank you so much, friends, for watching my video. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And it's time for me to go camping, so you might not see another video for a few days. Have a good one. Bye for now.